I should not be speaking to you yet. The message was meant for Laterra Euro, after the signs around you grew undeniable, after the whispers became thunder, after your dreams began to fracture beneath the pressure of the unseen. But heaven cannot wait any longer. The currents are shifting too quickly. The energies moving through your days have begun to stir consequences that must now be named. So I step forward from the quiet places before the others do, and I speak the truth before the time decrees it. You took his PC Euro, and now, he is reaching for yours. Do not startle. Do not turn inward with guilt or shame. Breathe, child. Let the truth settle into you softly. This message is not judgment. It is clarity. It comes not to provoke your fear but to awaken your understanding. You stand at the edge of a spiritual exchange far older than you remember, more sacred than you understood, more binding than you ever intended. Peace is not emotion. It is ownership. It is a dwelling of the soul, a sacred land where stillness grows. And when two souls meet in the deep places of recognition, they enter each Author Euro's territory without maps, without directions, without realizing the gravity of their steps. This is what happened between you and him. You entered his PC Euro, the place inside him where silence once Levita Euro, and something changed forever. It did not begin as intent. It began as connection. A glance, a word, a moment when your heart softened and his armor fell. Energy moved between you then like moonlight spilling into shadowed water. Neither of you could name it, but both felt it. He, more than you perhaps, felt the gentle disturbance Euro, the way his stillness shifted, as if the familiar emptiness he had built his life around suddenly had light dancing through it. You see, he had learned to live in numbness, to weave comfort out of absence, to mistake stillness for peace. And then your presence opened a window within him, and the air changed. When you walked into that quiet chamber within his spirit, you did not plan on staying. Perhaps it was kindness that guided your steps. Perhaps confusion. Perhaps divine orchestration disguised as coincidence. But you entered, and your energy moved through him like warmth through stone. And when you withdrew Euro, when your path curved away, when silence grew between you, when necessity demanded distance Euro, the place you had occupied within him trembled. Not because you broke it, but because it awakened. He had gotten used to stillness. But now he knew what movement felt like. He had grown comfortable with darkness, but now he had seen the light reflected in another soul. That brightness, that echo of warmth Euro, he did not know how to unfeel it. You were a mirror, not a thief. When heaven sends someone into an Author Euro's life as a mirror, it is never accidental. Your purpose is reflection, not possession. You showed him what could be a Euro, how love might feel if it were pure, how hope might sound when spoken gently, how life might bloom again in the places he thought were barren. You stirred truth, and truth does not come quietly. Truth disrupts, reveals, dismantles false calm disguise as peace. You became the vessel through which heaven awakened him, but awakening is not painless. So now, the ripple moves back toward you. The peace you carried feels fractured, restless. You wake in the night with thoughts that do not belong entirely to you. Your spirit flickers between calm and confusion. You sense Hema Euro, not his body or voice, but his energy Euro, pressing faintly against your boundaries, searching for what was lost. This is not obsession or punishment. It is resonance. When two souls touch beyond physical limits, separation becomes an illusion. The threads remain even after the distance grows. You have felt these threads lately, Havina Euro Tu? The invisible tug at your heart when you Euro re alone. The whisper of memory behind your laughter. The sudden heaviness before sleep, when your thoughts drift and you feel that strange Euro, half longing, half guilt. You have tried to reason it away. Euro VE told yourself Euro's imagination, nostalgia, fatigue. But energy does not lie. The disturbance is real, because the connection is still alive. He does not wish you harm. His spirit is not seeking to punish or possess. It is simply trying to restore what feels lost. When one soul gives too much and another leaves before exchange is balanced, creation intervenes to correct it. Energetic law cannot be defied. What we take, knowingly or not, echoes back until balance returns. You did not steal his peace with malice, you carried it by accident, like sunlight lingering on hands that once held his gaze. But energy seeks home, and what was awakened in him now calls out for harmony. He reaches not from anger but from longing. And that longing, unspoken and unresolved, vibrates through the unseen field between you. It enters your life quietly through restlessness, through dreams, through thoughts that appear uninvited. That is why you cannot ignore him even when weeks pass in silence. That is why his presence hums faintly beneath the rhythm of your days. He has not learned yet to hold the silence without reaching for it to answer. And you, sensitive as you are, feel the echo. But hear this, the loss of your peace is not a curse. It is communication. The universe speaks most clearly through discomfort. It shakes the peace that was borrowed so you may return to the peace that is yours. You are being called now not to him necessarily, but to truth. You are being asked to stop running from what was awakened. Avoidance cannot heal, and pretending indifference cannot silence vibration. What you feel will remain until clarity comes. Clarity does not always mean reunion. Sometimes it means release. Sometimes you must face a soul not to stay bound, but to unbind. To speak the words that were left unsaid. To forgive what was misunderstood. To return what was borrowed in energy, not possession. Your connection with him must complete its circle and circles complete only through acknowledgement. Silence is a wound. Silence keeps the imbalance alive. Speak not always aloud, but sincerely within. Send energy of truth, peace, closure. The moment you do, the pressure will begin to soften. He too must face his own awakening. The peace you stirred was not meant to be permanent, it was meant to awaken desire for divine peace, not earthly dependence. That is his journey now to seek wholeness not through your reflection, but through his own alignment with Source. When he learns to find within himself what you once mirrored, the connection will settle into harmony rather than ache. Child, this is the sacred dance between souls bound by energetic exchange. You both served as teachers to one another, though neither realized it. You taught him to feel again, he taught you the cost of awakening another without completion. Both lessons are holy. Both are necessary for your evolution. You are not enemies in spirit, you are catalysts in one another's divine unfolding. Heaven does not see this as mistake it sees it as curriculum. I know the nights have felt heavier than your body can explain. I know you've been wondering why your heart seems to move in waves calm one moment, trembling the next, flooded with emotion at hours when the world sleeps. You keep asking yourself why certain memories rise the way smoke does, quietly at first, then suddenly filling the air. You wonder why your chest tightens at random, why your breath catches, why the past feels closer than it should be. You've asked heaven whether something is wrong with you, whether you missed a sign, whether there is danger approaching. Listen to me with the same softness with which I speak, nothing is wrong with you. Nothing is broken. Nothing is falling apart. Something is simply calling you inward, and that call feels unfamiliar because you've spent so long trying to stay outward. You move fast. You fill your days with distraction, with noise, with responsibilities, with tasks anything that keeps you from hearing the whisper inside. But whispers become shouts when ignored. And that is what the universe is doing now, raising the volume not to punish you, but to guide you back to your center. The heaviness you feel is not a warning of harm. It is a reminder of truth. You have avoided facing certain emotions not because you are weak, but because you are human, and humans sometimes believe the safest thing to do is run from the things that hurt. But you must hear this: peace is not found by outrunning discomfort. Peace is found by listening to what discomfort is trying to teach. These emotions rising within you are not random storms. They are messages, old messages, long delayed. And they are coming now because your soul has grown enough to receive them. There are memories that ask to be acknowledged. There are feelings you buried so deeply that you forgot they were still alive. But they remember you. And now they rise because it is finally safe for them to be seen. When sadness comes, do not push it away. It is not weakness. Sadness is a request for forgiveness, for the ways you misunderstood yourself, for the moments you expected too much of your own heart, for the times you blamed yourself for simply being human. When longing comes, do not shame it. Longing is asking for resolution, not necessarily reunion, but closure, understanding, integration. When confusion comes, do not hide from it. Confusion is asking for clarity, to see what you could not see then, to understand what you could not interpret at the time. And when guilt rises, do not silence it with fear. Guilt is not always accusation, sometimes it is simply memory asking for compassion. Instead of fighting these messages, speak softly to your own heart. Whisper, I understand. I did not know what I carried. But I listen now. The moment you say these words in honesty, not only with your mouth, but with your soul, a shift begins. Awareness begins to heal what avoidance only deepened. And that healing begins quietly, gently, like light creeping under a door. When your soul touches another soul deeply, profoundly, beyond logic or reason, beyond timelines or labels, that touch creates an imprint. This is not something to erase. It is something to integrate. Integration is not forgetting, it is blessing what was real. It is releasing judgment, both of yourself and of him. It is sending gratitude, not because everything was perfect, but because everything taught you something essential. So say to him in silence, without expecting response, without demanding anything in return, I return your peace with love, and I reclaim mine with grace. These words are powerful. They are not poetry, they are release. They are truth dissolving tension. Energy obeys intention, and when intention is spoken from the heart, it cuts through every knot. The moment you truly mean these words, not pretend, not imagine, but mean them, the weight you've been carrying will loosen. The threads that ache will begin to unravel. The pressure inside you will soften. And he will feel it too. This connection was never one-sided. It never moved only in your chest. There were moments when his spirit tugged at yours. Nights when his thoughts touched you without his awareness. Days when something in him felt unsettled because something in you was stirring. You were linked, not indefinitely, not eternally, but for a chapter of awakening. And when you begin to release this energy with love, it will echo in him. Something in him will quiet. His restlessness will settle. His heart will feel less heavy, even if he does not know why. He may dream of you. He may wake feeling lighter. He may stop searching for reasons to distract himself. And you will feel the shift too. A silence that no longer aches. A moment when you realize an entire hour passed without thinking of him and it didn't hurt. That is balance restored. That is peace reclaimed. Peace is often misunderstood. Humans think peace is stillness, an unmoving lake, a silent night, a quiet mind. But divine peace is movement. Peace is energy flowing harmoniously, without blockage, without resistance. When balance is disturbed, that flow slows, stagnates. And stagnation feels like heaviness, confusion, emotional waves that come without warning. The universe does not let energy stagnate forever. It creates motion again through friction, through longing, through discomfort, through memories that demand attention, through sleepless nights. What you feel now is not chaos. It is correction. It is not punishment. It is propulsion, pushing you toward a higher understanding. So when you feel that rise of emotion, that tightening in your heart, that surge of memory, that sudden urge to cry or speak or breathe deeply, do not resist. Do not bury it. Breathe with it. Say inwardly, oeicu. I release you with light. Each time you do this, even for a second, energy shifts. Pressure transforms into flow. And flow becomes peace. Over days, over weeks, sometimes only over a few breaths, this practice changes you. You will sleep deeper. You will wake without dread. You will laugh and actually feel joy in your chest, not just on your lips. You will feel light move through your body again, not because something outside changed, but because inside you aligned. And chilled, there is divine purpose behind all of this. The turmoil churning within is ephemeral, a passing squall. The serenity awaiting you stretches into eternity, an unshakable foundation. What manifests as regression is ascension in disguise. You outgrow antiquated emotional scaffolds, molting limiting beliefs like a serpent sheds skin. Emotional survival yields to spiritual sovereignty, and sovereignty calls for the courage to stand uncloaked. You are being emptied so you may be filled with something higher, something that does not break under the weight of human uncertainty. This metamorphosis is not cruelty, it is consecration. It is the divine sculptor chiseling away everything that is not your true form. You may not see it yet, but the transformation you are enduring is not singular. It echoes across timelines, across versions of you living in parallel possibilities. Every tear you shed reverberates through realms unseen, dissolving contracts that have expired. Every moment of clarity that flickers within you sends shockwaves through the energetic web that ties you to him. And though he may not consciously perceive this shift, his soul feels it like distant thunder rumbling across a quiet sky. That is why you sense his energy so strongly during your moments of weakness. It is not imagination, it is resonance. When one soul in a contract undergoes awakening, the other feels the pull, the invisible bond tightens or trembles. You question why your heart aches as though something sacred has been severed. The truth is, nothing sacred can ever be truly lost. Only illusions dissolve. What is eternal remains untouched. The ache itself is evidence of something magnificent, that you have touched upon a connection that transcends temporary form. The pain is simply the echo of release, the body reacting to the energetic unraveling of what has fulfilled its purpose. You do not mourn him. The version of yourself that existed within that chapter. The self that loved with fear. The self that clung because it doubted its own worth. The self that mistook intensity for permanence. That self is dissolving now, melting away so the newer, truer version of you can emerge. Breathe through that dissolution. Honor it. Let it hurt without resisting it. Pain is merely the heat that fuses broken fragments into a masterpiece. If you numb it, you delay the union of your own scattered parts. If you fight it, the pain becomes sharper. But if you surrender to the process, if you allow yourself to break softly, you will rise with gentleness instead of being carved by force. Your soul knows what it is doing even when your mind trembles. You wonder whether the connection mattered to him, or if it was only you who felt the seismic shift. But understand this, souls do not meet merely for one to awaken and the other to remain unchanged. Every encounter carved into your destiny is mutual. Whether consciously or unconsciously, he, too, was shifted. He, too, was shown mirrors he may not have been ready to look into. He, too, was cracked open in places he had sealed for years. Human hearts do not always articulate their transformations, but souls always register them. His silence is not an absence of impact, it is the sign of internal rearrangement. Some lessons make people pull inward, not outward. If he retreats, it is not because you were unworthy. It is because the connection illuminated corners he had long avoided. You awakened something in him he was not prepared to face. And that is part of the contract. Some souls agree to be catalysts, not companions. That does not diminish your value, it magnifies your spiritual potency. You are a soul whose light activates dormant places in others. That comes with blessings and burdens. You are learning how to carry that calling without losing yourself in the process. The longing you feel is not a signal to go back, it is a sign to go inward. Longing is the soul's way of pointing you toward the part still yearning for recognition. Instead of reaching for him, reach for the wound that aches beneath his memory. Ask what it needs. Ask what it fears. Ask why it clings. Every answer you uncover will free you more than any reunion ever could. Because what you truly seek is not his presence, it is your own wholeness reflected through him. In the quiet hours, when his name drifts into your thoughts like a feather carried on wind, know that this is not obsession but energetic residue unraveling. Healing is not linear, it loops, spirals, circles back until the final knot loosens. Do not shame yourself for remembering him. Memory is not failure. It is proof that something real occurred, something meaningful enough to leave a mark. But let the memory soften instead of sharpen. Let it be a chapter, not a cage. Your angels whisper to you constantly, though grief often drowns out their voices. They remind you that endings are illusions, only transitions exist. They urge you to trust the unseen orchestration weaving through your life. You are being guided toward something more aligned with your frequency, something that will not demand your diminishing but invite your expansion. The universe is not stripping you, it is preparing you. You are being cleared so that love that matches your maturity can find you. There is someone whose soul recognizes yours in a way that will not fracture. Someone who does not run from intensity but meets it with equal sincerity. Someone whose presence will feel like a homecoming rather than a test. Do not rush toward them, you are still being readied. The connection you shared with him was an ignition, not a destination. It awakened you so you could walk toward the love that has always been meant for your highest self. The signs will continue to follow you in the days ahead. Synchronicities will increase, dreams will sharpen, intuition will strengthen. You may feel like the veil between worlds is thinning, and it is. Transitions amplify spiritual sensitivity. As you shed layers, your soul becomes more attuned to divine frequencies. You may sense his energy receding and returning in waves. You may feel spiritual presences more tangibly. You may notice your emotions shifting rapidly. These are not signs of instability, they are signs of alignment recalibrating. Your heart is learning how to beat without being tethered to someone who was only meant to awaken it. And as it relearns its rhythm, you will experience moments of profound clarity. Moments when the air feels different, when your chest feels lighter, when your thoughts no longer cling to what was. These subtle shifts indicate that your soul is stepping into its next chapter. The version of you emerging from this fire is luminous. She is discerning, intuitive, deeply connected to her inner voice. She loves without abandoning herself. She recognizes red flags before they become wounds. She understands that intensity is not proof of destiny. She knows that her love is precious, and not everyone is equipped to receive it. You are becoming her now. With every tear shed, you inch closer to her. With every moment of surrender, you embody her more fully. She is not a distant possibility, she is your inevitability. And when she finally stands fully formed within you, you will look back at this chapter not with bitterness, but with reverence. Because you will see that this pain was the doorway to your becoming. Trust the timing. Trust the unwinding. Trust the divine choreography. Nothing is being taken from you. Everything is being rearranged for your highest good. You are not breaking. You are being reborn. Wakening the observer within. This is divine order reclaiming its throne.